it's Liz Yuille from Old Staples Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today for another Simple Stamping Saturday. I love Simple Stamping Saturdays, apart from the fact they seem to come around far too quickly. Where's the summer going? Anyway, today I am using the A Good Man stamp set. It's that wonderful generic, can be used pretty much for every guy in your life set. There are obviously some images that are if they've got small people, but this one I think is fantastic for anyone, particularly those people who don't really have a hobby. So they're not fishermen, they're not mechanics, they're not into any of that sort of stuff. So this is just, particularly in the summer, a great, just relax, chill, have a great birthday sentiment. Image, that's the word I'm looking for. So obviously we will be making this card, because that's what we do on Simple Stamping Saturday. We make the simple version. This is my more casual version. I've added in coloured paper, so I'm using the Subtles colour palette. So both the Pear Pizzazz and the Pool Party come from the Subtles collection. So you can just get that one pack of A4 paper, and you've got all 10 colours, 2 sheets of each, which is fantastic. I've introduced some of the Seaside Spray linen ribbon. This is actually the Purple Posy version, but it's a really lovely ribbon, and it's great that you can use it for either men or women, and you can separate it. It won't fray, which is great. So I've just stuck some double-sided tape down the middle here, cut it in half, and then stuck it on the back of my panel here. And this is just a straight panel. Then I've made up some texture in the background with the Tasteful Texture stamp set, and I've used Pear Pizzazz again. Some of it is first generation, some of it's second generation, but just to get a bit of texture. And then for the more advanced, or I've got lots of crafty goodies version, I've used, on both of these I've used blends, but for this one I've used the Subtles background 3D embossing folder. I've done the nested labels, and I've added in some of the adhesive backed sequins in Sahara Sand. So all 3 versions, fantastic for a birthday card for the man in your life. And on this one, I've even stamped in the middle. But actually, you can use it for any occasion if you don't put a sentiment in the middle. And because it's Simple Stamping Saturday, of course, we're stamping on the envelope, and I'm just using the heart that, again, is in the stamp set. So this one just uses the A Good Man stamp set. So let me show you how I made it. I will be doing this one on Wednesday. So come back and have a look at how this one is made. This one I'm not doing a video on. But so one of our note cards and envelopes, you get 20 in a pack. So 20 note cards, 20 envelopes. They are, I want to say 3.5 by 5 inches. Should know by now, shouldn't I? Yep, 3.5 by 5 inches, and they are in thick Whisper White or thick Very Vanilla. Obviously, I am using the thick Very Vanilla, the thick Whisper White today. And I'm using Memento ink. Now, obviously, you would use that for your blends, but you can, if you're careful, use it for your Stampin' Right markers, which is what I'm going to use for colouring this card. I quite often use the watercolour pencils, but these are all from the Subtles pack. So it's just the one pack of Stampin' Right markers, and there are another 4 to go on top, so you get 10 in the pack, so 1 for each of the colours. So the first thing I'm going to do is ink up my stamp, and I like to twist first to get a good coverage, and then pounce to take any imperfections out. Just check that it's well inked, which that looks to be, and then I'm coming down into the bottom right hand corner and stamp. Now the key to good stamping, famous last words, is to hold the stamp onto the paper for a reasonable amount of time. It's you're never going to get all the ink to transfer if you don't hold it down. Now, I didn't ink that up amazingly well, but it's okay. So again, this one, I like to count to 3 or thereabouts, so that you have got some chance. And then if I grab an envelope, we might as well get that done as well. Ooh, and when I did my Top Tip Tuesday, converting clear mount to cling mount, someone mentioned that they were having a problem getting their cling mount off the clear block. What I do is, having put the cling mount on, is I actually put it on the back of my hand, which takes some of the stick off. If they stop being sticky, all you need to do is run them under clear water and then leave them to dry, and they will become sticky again. But that's just a tip for if your cling mount are too clingy, just get them a bit dirty. Another suggestion that I have seen people use is put a little bit of washi tape onto the corner of, just one corner, because that gives you the leverage to get it off the clear block. But I don't tend to find I've got a problem if I've taken a bit of the stick off first. But if you do have a problem, let me just clean this one up, because this one is quite sticky. Because it's large, it tends to be a bit stickier. So if you do have a problem getting your cling off, so if I pull there, you see it's not coming up, just find a corner and just gently lift up a corner. Don't pull the rubber and the foam, because you will rip the foam. Just find a corner, and if you can't get in, you can use a piercing tool just to go in the corner, just to lift a corner up. And once you've got one corner up, the rest will come off reasonably easily. So don't worry, you know, if they are a bit sticky, there are ways around it. So that's actually given me enough time for this to dry. Because we're using Memento, I don't want the ink to be too wet when I use it, because it's, if we read on the back, quickly dries on most papers. When dry, stamped impressions are water resistant. They're not waterproof, they're water resistant. So if you get them too wet, it will bleed. So letting it dry for a bit, good idea. And then this is Petal Pink, which is a reasonable substitute for skin tone. Now obviously there are other colours you could use for other skin tones, so have a look in the neutrals for other skin tones, but for my chap here, where I've used the ivory for the blends, this works quite nicely as a substitute. So that's Pink Petal, or Petal Pink even. I'm going to use Soft Sea Foam for the shading underneath. It's not really a shadow colour, but I wanted to stick within the Subtles collection, so Soft Sea Foam it is. Then Pear Pizzazz for the shorts. Now the key to colouring with your markers is to not go over one area too much, A, because you layer up colour, but B, because you may pill the card, that's the word. So you may break down the card. So try not to go over one area too much, and try to, well, not go over one area too much. Now what I do sometimes find is that if you have got blotchy, A, leave it to dry, but then go back in the opposite direction, and that helps even it out. But the key is to make sure that everything is dried out before you go over it too often. But there you are, you see it's not quite as uneven as it was, and again with the shorts, if I go back in the other direction, it will even that tone out. Now the hat I'm just doing in So Saffron, because that was the nearest I could get to a straw hat in the Subtles collection. So there's one straw hat. And then I'm going for Calypso Coral for the deck chair, because again it's quite a nice bright colour from the Subtles collection. So deck chairs should really be bright. And just colour in where you think the stripes should be. And that is it. How simple was that? So if you've got lots of cards to make, you may want to change out the sentiment, but fantastic way of just putting together quick cards. So there we are. There's your simple version. Casual version, adding coloured cardstock and a bit of ribbon with just a straight cut mat, layered up with dimensionals, and then go another step by using dies and some sequins and a 3D embossing folder. So I hope you found that fun. Do have a look at the website for close-ups of all of the cards. Products you can get at my online store, and there's a link to that below, and all of the items that I've used will be linked below. And as ever, I will link them in the order of simple, casual, avid. So don't be surprised if you see lots of things being added in a slightly odd order. That will be why. Thank you very much indeed for joining me on a weekend. I look forward to seeing you again soon. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. It really does make a difference. I'm still aiming for 7,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. Once I get to 7,000, I will do a craft room tour following my reorganisation. It would be really good if I could hit 7,000 sooner rather than later, because I've kind of stopped organising. I've got to a point where it's okay and I've got the really nasty cupboards to do. So it would give me the spur to just get on and get it all sorted. So that would really help me to focus on clearing my craft room. So if you need any reason, there's one for you. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.